Did you know that I am a living miracle? Well, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, we're all miracles. Yeah, that's true. But I'm going to share with you about a miracle that happened to me when I was about 1 year old. As I said, when I was about 1 year old, that was around 9/11, I got very sick. And my mom says she remembers holding me as the Twin Towers fell to the ground. So that was around that time. So I didn't remember anything about it, but I bet it must have been terrible. It took a couple weeks to diagnose me, but every time I went to the doctor, they said it was just a cold and sent us back home. But my parents had a feeling that it was something much worse. The reason it took so long for it to diagnose was because my blood cells were depleting rapidly, and I was at the edge of needing a blood transfusion. After several visits to the ER, my pediatrician did some research and thought she had figured out what it was. So she urged us to go to the Children's Hospital in LA as soon as we could. I was diagnosed with HUS, hemolytic uremic syndrome, which occurs when your digestive system gets an infection that produces toxic substances that destroy your red blood cells and can cause kidney injury. This can be caused by E. coli or salmonella cells, and also red blood cell loss leads to anemia, which I got but recovered from. Before I was hospitalized, my mom said a couple of the things that happened to me were my eyes were rolling back into my head, I was having seizures, and I was less conscious all the time. Once we got to the hospital after some tests, the doctor told my parents that I was on the edge of needing a blood transfusion. My cells were battling against each other and killing each other, so I was very low on blood. My parents and all my friends and family prayed that I wouldn't need one and that I would heal up quickly. And I'm happy to say I didn't need one. And everyone praised the Lord that He had answered our prayers. But I still had to stay in the hospital for a week because my blood level was really low. And at that time, they did not know anything about this syndrome. They didn't. The Department of Health actually called us to figure out more about it, and there was no medication for it too. So they just had to wait it out. And it usually doesn't stop that quick. A couple weeks later, I would have died. And yeah, so we just had to wait and pray that it would go away, and it did. So, and I heard that the nurses loved me because I was such a happy patient. And I heard that I got lots of attention and gifts. And, I forgot to bring it, but one of my gifts that I treasure to this day is my M&M blanket. It's like a blanket about that big, and it has this big hole in it because I've been using it all the time. And it's just filled with M&Ms, so that's one of my favorite things that I remember from that. And I also got to ride in a wagon around the hospital. I thank my Lord and Savior that I'm alive today, and I know He has big plans for my life, as He does with yours. I know He's not done with me yet. Thank you for listening.